the big confidence moving forward because we got to be better. And there's a lot of learns. I think that's what's exciting about this game.
Hey, Coach, some of your guys looked like they were pretty locked in here. Shaw looked untouchable. Same with Jaden Hicks. RJ and BJ, got their own too. But what kind of focus did you see from your team, as they took that field today?
I think we were really dialed in, and I think maybe we're almost a little too excited at first, especially on offense. I think you saw us kind of finally settle in and get our stride. But to me, energy is great, but it just can't be high and low. It's got to be sustained. And I thought, those guys that you mentioned are also NFL guys. And they went out there in the biggest and brightest lights, showed the work that they had in the dark. And just proud of our whole team.
Yeah, Coach. First half, you guys seemed to move the ball with a lot of efficiency. And then the second half, it looked like Wisconsin had adjusted. What happened what changes did you make? Turnovers were huge. What changes did you make? And can you kind of speak to that on how the fourth quarter was much better?
Well, first off, coming into the game, they were very much a 11 personnel 4-down team, 10 personnel 3-down team, and they played us every snap in 3-down. And that's what they did at Cincinnati. So were they bluffing week one? I don't know what they're going to do going forward. But I just think our guys had to adjust on the fly. They attacked a little bit more and just kept us off balance where we couldn't effectively or just efficiently run the ball to keep them off balance. So we need better balance on offense. That'll be the biggest, kind of point going forward. But just in gut check time, I told our offensive staff kind of coming off the field, they'll enjoy this one even more because of how hard it was. And I really mean that. And as a coach, you go, what does that even mean, right? But when it's that hard and you got to gut it out, and Coach Arbuckle found a way to have a big drive, that's really rewarding. And I think our offense will be able to lean on that the rest of the year.
Coach, you spoke to it just a little bit there, but when it comes to Arbuckle and, kind of correcting the offense, the improvisations that we saw, whether it was, Lincoln throwing a pass or Cam running the jet sweep action before the quarterback run, just that you mentioned the adjusting on the fly, but just what kind of depth of a playbook that Arbuckle has that allows you to work through kind of any offensive rut?
Well, I think it's a lot, and I thought he does a good job, and we communicate about it, just circling through the plays. I mean, even to pull out the two quarterback stuff at the end in a clutch moment to get John a big run and an explosive play, and for John to stay ready for 4 quarters as we keep going down, I think it just shows the mindset of the offense, and I thought he did a good job finding different ways. We had some success going empty a little bit, but like I said, it was gut check time, and Cam Ward, we put it in his hands, he made the dang plays.
Jake, Ron Stone had 2 sacks last season. I'm looking at stats right now. It says 1 for him, but I remember 2.
Yeah, we'll get that adjusted. Where's Bill at?
Just how big was Ron today?
Here's the biggest thing. Ron's a great example of you're never done getting better. He had a tremendous season in 21. Things didn't go the way he wanted to last year. There was injuries that really kind of hampered his whole season that no one really knew about. And he just made a great decision to commit A, to Washington State, and B, to himself. And he's really comfortable with his decision of who he is and where we're going and what he means to this program, what he means to Cougs everywhere, and what he means to me, I can't even put into words. So to see him see the results of it again is awesome, and I think Ron's just scratching the surface of what he's going to do the rest of the season.
And both of those fumbles, Brennan scooped up. How fitting is that those two?
I mean, those guys are 1080p or whatever they say. I don't even know. But to have Ron do that and RJ, or to have BJ score, I think it's just kind of fitting for what those guys do and what they mean to each other and how much they challenge each other and how different yet similar they are. So it's just really awesome to be their coach.
Oh, I know last week you said you don't want Cam to be your leading rusher. He is again today. Are you okay with that, or kind of what does that say about the offense?
No,
right
I mean, I just think there's things that we'll go back to the drawing board that we have to be better at. Now Cam made some of those plays off script and doing just amazing things, but part of it is our commitment to want to run the ball and needs to take a step forward. And I mean that, and we'll look at that because I think we can. I know we can, and I have trust in Nakia, Jalen. If we can create space, can make some things. We just got to make sure we're committed to it and finding ways to make sure we're staying ahead of the chains.
Have you thought much about just kind of what this would mean just for Wazoo in general? And I mean, I know you talked about kind of the statement you made, but how much have you thought about just kind of what this does for the program long term?
I just think, it's hard to tell right now, Greg, to be honest with you. We're just trying to take it one game at a time, and we know what we have, and I said we quietly built a really good team. And we got to come back on Monday ready to work and get better. I just think it means a lot probably for Coug fans everywhere, the faculty, the staff, the alumni, all over. I know they're beaming with pride. But this is a crux point for Washington State and Washington State football. And we're carrying the flag for all the transition, and I get that, and this is a pivotal moment of where we want to go. Wherever we end up, we got to commit to being great. And I think that's what this statement means, is that we're here. We can be. And we're fighting. Even as college football is changing, we're still getting pretty good results. But once again, this is one win. We're going to celebrate this tonight, and we're going to come back Monday ready to work.
Before the game, you honored the late and great head coach, Mike Leach. I see you guys rocking the Pirate shirts. How much was that a motivation to come out tonight the way that they did? Even some of these guys on your team were Mike Leach recruits.
Yeah, I mean, even the keys to victory this week were, in Coach Leach's honor. Be the best team, be the most excited to play, and be the best at doing your job. We talked about him this morning, and we honored him, and I thought those were just fitting because of how it would carry over to our football team. So Coach Leach loved Washington State because of the people. He did. He really did. And all the stories surround that. He would probably have something funnier to say than I do right now, but I just know he's had a great impact, and we wouldn't be sitting here today without Coach Leach. I really believe that, because he made us believe again and set us off on this trajectory, and I think it was a fitting honor to go out there and win a tough game.
I know we've talked about how huge the defense came up today, but in the first half they held them to, they were in the red zone 3 times and held them to 3 field goals. In hindsight, how much did that play a role in tonight's win when they made the comeback there in the second half?
Well, I think it's everything. We're bend but don't break, and we've been that ever since I've gotten here. And I think everybody's out there sometimes trying to stop everything, and I think that's hard. You gotta know, hey, what you're giving, what you're taking, keep the ball in front of you, eliminate explosive plays, but to make sure that you have great red zone defense is key. And I thought that gave us a lot of momentum, even right before the half, just to say, hey, we're in control of this game.
Hey, Coach, what's it going to cost for me to get that shirt from you?
We'll talk off, but I don't know if your wall is big enough. No, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you guys. Go Cougs.
Did you get your strawberry jam?
I got plenty of it.
Good? Huh? Yeah, I just kept going. Everyone good? We'll close this. Cam, take us through that last drive. You guys get the touchdown, kind of put it away, or put you up 9, put you up 2 scores. You get 2 huge runs in there. It just seems like you kind of took the onus on yourself to make sure you guys got the score and were able to kind of put it on ice.
I mean, that was just a front 5 right there. The O-line, I think from the first time of the game to the last time of the game, they played their butts off. KG leading the point, man, those guys gave me all the time in the world in pass protection today. So that's just them moving bodies left and right. And, we're going to win off them. The O-line and D-line, they're going to be the standpoint of this program. And, they did their job today.
Cam, that last drive, you make the play, you run it down to the 1, you take a pretty hard hit to do it, but that just shows how bad you wanted to win this game. What is it like to make a play like that, knowing you just helped win this game, pull it out?
Just try to do whatever you can, put your team, in a position to score. Nakia, I felt he had not the game that he wanted, but he didn't react at all. He just kept his head down, kept working. But to see guys like that, Nakia, the O-line receivers, come together as a team, and we didn't have the second half that we wanted as an offense. I felt like we could have been better in certain situations, but we didn't flinch, like Coach Digger said. We just stayed head down, 10 toes down. We leaned on each other, and we got the job done.
To win like that in front of that crowd with all that's gone on this summer, and the first time the Coug family is all together in one stadium, what does that mean to you guys? Can you even explain what it means right now? I
mean, I think rushing the field explained everything. To be honest, that's my first time experiencing that. So that's good. That was good for all of Pullman. Cougs across the nation. They've been with us since day one. we're going to continue to do our job. You know, we let everything take care of itself, all the outside take care of itself. You know, we just play football each and every Saturday.
Hey Cam, you were Wisconsin was, or you guys kind of had your way with Wisconsin in the first half. What were they doing different in the third quarter there that was kind of making the pocket not as open?
Really nothing. We just put ourselves in bad situations. Coming out the half, we didn't execute at the start of the snap. I had some bad checks at times. So, you know, it was really all 11 who were on the field. So, you know, we got to be better. You know, the film, the honest guy doesn't lie, so we're going to look at the film tomorrow and, you know, just get better off that. But I'll say we got to be better at third downs. We were 8 of 16, 50%. But, you know, we just got to be better on third downs, put our defense in better situations.
Cam, last week, obviously, 168 yards for Lincoln. And this week, 10 targets, you know, 55 yards, a touchdown. But he also threw a big pass, got rolled back, but he had the big kick return. Just the multitude of different things that he does, as well as being a captain, just what that says about him as a person and as a teammate, and just how you've seen him progress this year.
Lincoln's that guy, man. You talking about a person who's up here, when the first one's up here each and every day, whether it's recovery, the training room, in the film room. He's the definition of a Coug. I believe that this is his year, and he's worked each and every day for it. And, you know, to have a guy like Link right there beside me each and every day with that C on his chest, you know, he motivates me. He's a key player on this team. You know, we wouldn't be in this situation without him.
Yeah, Cam, really impressed with the off-schedule plays, but also the ability for, like, you had a couple bad snaps in there or some tough situations where seem to stay calmed and poised and get rid of the ball without having a turnover. Can you kind of talk about that mentality with you, or, like, how you do that? Because a lot of quarterbacks struggle there.
I kind of like those plays, to be honest, man. I mean, that's really just me being a kid playing backyard football. That's all I used to do with my dad growing up. So anytime you get a busted play, you get to show the whole world what you can do with the ball in your hands. And, you know, we don't like plays like that, but, you know, when plays like that happen, you just got to show up and show out.
Defense forced 3 turnovers today, and specifically that last one gave you guys that chance to put the game away.
Mm-hmm.
Just how big was the defense for you guys?
They won us this game, man. Without them, we were struggling for a little bit, but they won us this game, especially RJ and BJ, those two guys up there getting pressure on Mordecai. So, you know, we feed off them. They're the standpoint of this program. And, you know, the secondary, Shaw to Jay Hicks, even Jackson Latimaya making plays. So, you know, the defense, they did their job today. You know, we wouldn't be in this situation without them.
Kim, what was going through your mind when you rushed the field? Or like when all the fans kind of came rushing on the field after this one?
Man, it was crazy, to be honest. Only thing I could really think of was that pick. We had the pick of Gardner Minshew up there on the 5th floor when they rushed the field when they beat Oregon. So, you know, it was good. It was good for the student section. It was good for Pullman. But, you know, this is a memory that I'll never forget for sure.
It seems like on a lot of those scrambles, you know, the receivers weren't as open as they might have been in other games. When in those kinds of plays are you deciding they need to run, and kind of what is that decision-making process like for you?
Really last minute. I'm a pass until I have to run, and I feel like defenses have to respect my legs. And, you know, when you can constantly beat someone in the passing game, you know, they're going to try different ways to get you outside the pocket to make you feel uncomfortable. But, you know, we're built for the uncomfortable on the offense. I believe I have the best receivers in the Pac-12, honestly, in the country. So, you know, those guys, they're going to show up next week. They're going to show out next week. So it's just back to the basics come Monday.
Cam, last year against Oregon, you guys weren't able to make plays down the stretch on offense to get the win. Tonight, you said you didn't have the game you wanted in the second half, but you did just enough to get the win. How much does that mean to you in this offensive group?
It means a lot, and that's a lot, Coach. That's all Coach Buck right there. Him always constantly motivating us, whether we're at our highs and our lows. The game plan coming in was honestly one of the best game plans I've been around in my whole college career. So, you know, Coach Buck is always going to put myself and the offense in a great situation to be successful. So anytime you got a young offensive coordinator like that who knows what you like, knows what we're good at as a whole offense, you know, it's special. And, you know, it's just good playing for him.
Thanks, Cam.
Sir, appreciate y'all.
Congratulations.
Brendan Jackson.
So you scored a touchdown today. What goes through your head as you see RJ knock the ball to Mordecai's hands and you realize, I'm about to score here?
So I'm just going to start by saying this. RJ's a dog. Like, let's all just put that out there. He had a game. You know, I think with that play, going to what you said about me about to score a touchdown, you know, all I could think about was, you know, scoop, tuck, And then I was right there, so just put the ball across the line. It was an awesome feeling. I haven't scored a touchdown since I was in high school, so that was cool. My celebration's lacking. I'm not as choreographed as these receivers are, so I apologize if I look a little silly out there. I did like 3 spin moves. But no, it was an awesome feeling. Just going back to the basics. Don't let the moment get too big. So if the ball's right there, we're trained to pick it up. And then I was a lot closer to the end zone this time than the last one was. So yeah, it was good.
Brennan, one of the best rushing teams in the country, and you pretty much shut them down all night long. I had to imagine you guys were feeling pretty confident in that fourth quarter when you began to shut them down again. I guess what was going through your mind, in terms of the focus of stopping the Badgers' rush?
I think the 2 running backs they had, a ton of credit to them. They're electric guys. They both are super talented. But I guess every time we go into a game like this where they say they're going to run all over you, prove it. You got to prove that you can run all over us. And I think in this game we showed that, maybe they have some big guys up front and, they're really well coached. But, you can't out-coach effort. We're going to run to the ball. We're going to swarm you. So, yeah, you can make one guy miss, maybe 2, but you're not making all 11 guys on defense miss. And I think that's what kind of got them discouraged in the running game where they're like, we're breaking a tackle, but there's 3 other guys in front of us. And that really slowed them down. And I think we really want them to beat us in the passing game, because we were really confident in our rush today. We were confident we can get Tanner off his line. And he made some plays scrambling. He's a really elusive guy. But at the end of the day, I think we routed him enough in that fourth quarter to where it was basically, hey, let's go get after him.
Brendan, you're kind of the wise old man around here with how long you've been here.
Jeez.
You probably have, in terms of in the locker room, you probably have a good perspective of what this win means for this university and for this town. Can you share what you think with us?
I think this is just another defining moment in WSU history. I think for us, it's showing that it doesn't matter what analysts say or what other people say about us. It's like when you come to Pullman, you have to play a complete game, or else we're gonna beat you. And I think all the guys in there, it was different from last year. I was talking to RJ about it in his locker in Connor, and it was like last year was a surprise. Like we go into Wisconsin, their house, Camp Randall, we win. I told those guys in the locker room at halftime, we expected to win. This is not a surprise moment. And of course it's great. Oh my gosh, what a goat just walked in the building. It wasn't one of those let's try and keep this game, let's not let them come back. It's like, no, let's finish this game. Let's win, because that's what we're coached to do, that's what we're trained to do. So going into that fourth quarter, we were excited. We were excited to show what we can do and stop them.
Last year, obviously, your defense made plays, but some of the turnovers just weren't there. It's only been 2 games, but you guys are causing multiple turnovers each week. How much pride do you take in that?
Take a ton of pride because it's extra drives for our offense. If we can get teams turn the ball over, I think that makes them think a lot more on offense, what they're going to call, and if they can run certain plays or certain schemes. And so when you turn the ball over, it's basically like, hey, we can potentially get 7 more points on the board that we weren't expecting. And also we're taught that in practice. We're taught to rake at the ball. If we're going for sacks, a sack alone is a selfish act, and he proved that today. And so it was just getting after the ball today was going to get these guys rattled, and we wanted to have that offense kind of guessing what they were going to do going forward while we were stout what we were going to do in our game plan.
Brandon, that strip sack is going to go on highlight videos at Wazoo for years to come. Have you thought about kind of what that play might mean, just kind of long term for the program?
I guess it's just like because you watch that back home video every single time, and you kind of look around. And being here for 5 years, it's cool to see glimpses of me on there. So if that's a staple, that's gonna be great. But I think it's just 11 guys doing their job. Wait, which one are you talking about? There's 2 of them. Yeah. So I think just in that play, just going kind of about our chemistry and how we operate. RJ was destroying that guy on the right all game, and so for us it was like, hey, let's keep him over there, and then let's see what can happen. So for us, it's unselfish, and just making plays as a defense as a whole is what we care about. It's not about who gets the personal statistics and whatnot. It's about making plays and hoping to put our team in a better chance to win the game.
One more. Sorry. So before the game, you guys honored the late head coach Mike Leach. You two, obviously were one of the few players left standing who coached or played for Mike Leach. What did that mean to you, honoring him before the game, and how much did that play a factor motivation-wise going out to get this win tonight?
I think it was huge. I definitely could hear some of his sound bites during the game, just in my head, like what his coaching points are, be the best at doing your job and whatnot. And I think for him, this game in the locker room, I think we definitely made him very proud of what we did here at Martin Stadium to honor him. And, I think what he's done for WSU as a whole is just, it's huge. It's massive. So for us to be able to go out there and put on a show like this for him, I think means the world to every Coug out there.
I know Austin called you the old guy, but you're not the only old guy. Your roommate over here.
There's plenty of old guys on this team.
But, not to get too sappy here, but what does it mean for you guys to have those huge plays, the two of you? He forces the fumble, you recover it. What's that like for you?
I think the coolest thing was when the fans rushed the field, a bunch of them came up to me and they're like, "Thank you for staying," right? And I think that just means the world, because for us, like, we're bred Cougs, like we want to be here, and this is what we believe. We bleed crimson and gray. So hearing that, it was kind of like, it got me like a little teary-eyed, because I'm like, guys, like, you don't understand. Like, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here and wear these colors and basically, represent this university. So I think, plays are plays and whatnot, but just what we can do for this community, I think, speaks more. Awesome. Thank you. Hey, Mom.
Ron Stone Jr., edge. One of the other old guys. There's a lot of us. There's like 6 of us, 7.
RJ, you had 2 sacks last season. You had 2 strip sacks in consecutive drives. It seemed like those were the plays that kind of turned the game on its head and really tilted the momentum in your favor. I mean, just, you get to the quarterback, you see the ball hit the ground, and what kind of goes through your head in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the ball hit the ground on either of them, actually. I was kind of still trying to get up, but I could hear him yell, "Ball, ball, ball," on both of them. So when I looked up and I saw Brennan in the end zone, it was a surprise to me, and I was excited. Really just, at the end of the day, it just really just shows how much hard work and dedication pays off. Obviously, coming off a year that I didn't have as much success, and to do what I did today, it's like a good extra boost. So.
Ron, there was a lot of talk last week. I mean, obviously there was success defensively, but just about finishing late in that game and some of the late scores. And today, there was a few struggles in the third quarter, but ultimately the defense with the late turnover finished. So I'm just wondering what kind of changed for you guys, really, maybe mentally or in your preparation to truly go out there against a solid team and finish like that.
Yeah, I think our defense, we really just pride ourselves on our ability to affect the game in a positive way for our team. We have that mentality that we're one of the best defenses in the nation, and that anytime we're on the field, that we can make it happen. So really, just trusting each other, trusting the process, and not getting hijacked. It's really easy to get caught up in the momentum shifts and things like that and lose your cool. But I think that's the most important thing that we did. We tried to stay level-headed the whole game, and ultimately we were able to get it done.
How much did this win mean to you, knowing with all the factors, honoring Coach Leach, played on a national stage on primetime ABC tonight, playing against a ranked Big Ten team, the way that you guys finished and came out tonight, what does that say about the team, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think it was just a great build-up to show the world what we're capable of, and I think, there's a lot of people out there that might have doubted us, but we never doubted ourselves. We don't really buy into the underdog mentality. We think we belong on the field with anyone else. So really at the end of the day, it's just all aligned to be a great day for the Cougs, and being one of those few guys, kind of like Brennan was saying earlier, is just you heard some of those sound bits and then you start thinking of other Mike Leach stories and you start to get a little emotional, you start to laugh, you just start to think about some of those memories. And I mean, it's just fantastic. I'm glad we were able to get that done, and really honor him the right way.
Ron, you touched on it a little bit there with, last season the 2 sacks, got 2 tonight, forced the fumble. Does this feel, and this is against a top 25 team, does this feel like I'm back, essentially, to you?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm going to take it game by game. I can't sit here and get too hijacked up on one performance because, we got one more next week. So I think at the end of the day, it's just realizing that the preparation that I had for this week was good enough to get the job done and making sure I could even elevate it for this upcoming week.
Ron, this game was kind of following the script of the Oregon game from last year, but this time defense makes a play, offense makes a play, and you guys win. How much does it mean to you to have a similar game and pull it out in the end this year?
I think it's huge for us. I think it's huge for our team, and last year we were on the opposite side of a lot of those games, a lot of those 50-50 games, and to come out on top this early in the season and really just prove to ourselves that we're capable of doing it and really just reinforce that and give us a little bit more ammo for when we're in a situation like this again, because adversity is not an if but a win, and so I think that's just really great for us to have in our tool case, in our toolbox, to be able to be ready for this situation when it happens.
Then, Ron, you were a freshman back in 2018, correct?
Yeah, that was me, yep.
All right, so you meant your participation in that Oregon game where they rushed the field, game day, everything that happened there. What's it mean to, now you're a senior, your final year, your participation is a lot more maybe compared to that 2018 season. What's it just mean that you get to be in one of these moments?
Fantastic, man. I think it's a dream come true, to be on the field 3 different times when the field's been rushed, one at a different opponent's stadium, it's fantastic, and it's a great feeling, it's something you want to keep chasing, it's something that you expect to make, not rushing the field, but having those big wins, a consistency in your program, and just all we're doing now is really just building the foundation to continue to do things like that.
Ron, I asked Brennan the same question, but from your perspective, what's it like for you to force those fumbles and then have him scoop them up?
No, it's fantastic. We get to go home and post that, take that still frame, put it on our fridge, and do things like that. So it's super exciting, just to be able to live with him now and see his work ethic, see things he does, and we get to talk about ball a little bit more, right? Like we'll be sitting there and get back from practice, we're eating dinner, and let's talk about this, and really just try to improve each other's game. So, just for us to both come back and have this success today is just a dream come true for both of us. Go Cougs. Come on.
Did Brennan forget to say hi, Mom?
No, he did.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
He would never.